Okay, since this is an annual meeting for the membership, do I have a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Do I have a second? Thank you. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, now we're at President's Remarks and Recognitions. And it is my great pleasure to present a check to Fire and Rescue. It represents Fire and Rescue. You, come up. Okay, we have a surprise for you this year. And instead of the usual $42,000, in honor of your 50th anniversary, we are giving you $50,000.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Terrific.
You're so welcome. The board voted unanimously to do it. We signed a special paper.
That's terrific.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're so welcome. Absolutely.
I'm Dan Sansi, president of the Fire and Rescue Company, and well, Justice up here. Well, first, thank you to the Lake of the Woods Board for this generous donation. We really appreciate it. It makes up quite a large amount of our budget each year, and it's fantastic. We've also been lucky in recent years to have a new tax levy established to the county that helps to offset some of this. But as any organization that runs for fire and rescue can understand with volunteers, we have people that really just want to run fire calls, EMS calls. The administrative portion that I sit in now that I didn't know I was signing up for when they asked if anyone would please just step up and be the president for 1 year. It's okay. Your brother is the fire chief. It'll be okay. It'll just be, nice and relaxed. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of time spent. We are just tremendously, worked. And Linda Brooks does a fantastic job here, keeping everyone organized, everything out on time. There's a whole team that's working behind the scenes. We're thin, and this means a real, great deal to us to have this kind of support from LOA. If I can have just a few more remarks. So we have challenge coins this year in honor of our 50th anniversary. The history of a challenge coin can be looked up, but we like to tell the version that equates to a gentleman in World War I who was fighter pilot flying beyond enemy lines, and that used to be kind of a expensive hobby to have if you were a pilot. So they got a bunch of Yale and Harvard kids, and they would fly the planes for them. Everyone else was a grunt in the Army, like my grandfather, not in World War I, World War II, but they would send them across, and this gentleman flying the plane went across, had to ditch his plane. He lost everything in his pack, not a piece of equipment left, no identifiable papers. They even had a blood pack they would give you at the end. You could bribe someone if you got trapped behind enemy lines and say, here's $20. That's all it cost back then, and you can use this, and we will pay the ransom, whatever you want, to get our guy back. Well, he had nothing except this medallion that he wore from his class, and the challenge coin represents this now. He walked all the way back, lost all of his clothes. He dressed in civilian clothes and ran back right to the front line. He couldn't cross over because the French were there, and they said, we got people dressed up in civilian clothes all the day and coming across and hurting us. We're not letting you through. And he had this medallion on his necklace there, and he said, "It's the last thing I got. It was of his squadron's insignia." And so we present this challenge coin. It's got some markings from our company, our logo that's up there as well, and commemorates our 50 years of service. It's a great reminder that we're really good friends here. We can trust you guys. We really appreciate all the support we get from you, and it really does mean a tremendous deal to us. So I want to thank you and leave you with that token of our appreciation. This year we've run about 4,000 hours through July on the rescue side. We've got a couple hundred calls on the fire side. They track those. It's a really neat opportunity. We're made up of volunteers like myself who had no prior fire or EMS experience, and we've got career professionals that come down. This is their home. They travel up to Fairfax, Prince William, Loudoun County, all around the region here, and they volunteer their time. They still find some opportunities to come through. We are busy. We're really busy. We're going to keep that way. I worked Thursday night 4 hours, and I filed 4 reports in those 4 hours, so you can imagine what it would be like as a volunteer job. But I want to thank you all for your support, especially the board, and we hope to be here for many more years to come. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
gosh, what a surprise.
All right. All right. Thank you, Dan. All right. Can we please have the past presidents stand to be acknowledged? I know we have at least two of you, Cliff
And Leighton.
and Leighton.
Leighton fourth.
Okay, we've got Cliff Wilkes and Leighton Cumming. Anybody else? How about on Zoom? They're just, oh, I'm sorry. They're just observing. Well, if you are on Zoom, we appreciate you being president of Lake of the Woods. Yeah, good idea. All right, and now I want to honor and acknowledge the current board members. Let's start on this side. Terry, can you stand? Terry Vickery, Secretary of the Board. Pete Brown, Vice President of the Board. Carl Clausen, Director. Cliff Wilkes, Director and former President. Heidi Brown, Director. And Walter Dirks, Treasurer. Okay, do we have any committee chairs in the audience? None. Well, we appreciate them too. We have 20 committees, and we appreciate the work that the chair people, women, men, put into it. Oh, and Rick, can you please stand? Rick is going to be, turn around. Rick is going to be our new board member, but he won't be seated until Wednesday. Thank you so much for running, Rick. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. And yeah. And those of you out there, please be thinking, do you want to be on the board next, when is it? You apply in April? You give your, submit your application in April, so be thinking about that, because we need good talent up here, people who are dedicated to Lake of the Woods, to doing their best for Lake of the Woods. Okay, so now I get to give remarks, and all I can think of is to say how much I appreciate the board and their support and their guidance. Each and every one of you, you've really just been so supportive, and I've always felt like I could count on you. And I also want to thank Linda for turning our board meetings into something legible and intelligent that you read it and you think, wow, we did good. She makes us look good. And I want to thank our general manager, because he is amazing. That's the things he does. It's almost 24/7. You think he's taking the day off? Oh, no. An email comes in that needs attending to, he's on it. And not only Phil, but Lori Trocchio and all the managers, my gosh, they put so much work into taking care of Lake of the Woods. And as president, I couldn't be more proud, and I appreciate it very much. Big round of applause. Okay. All right, we're going to now hear the annual report from our general manager, Phil Rodenberg.
Thank you, Jennifer. Directors and members of the association, good morning. I'm Phil Rodenberg, and it's my honor to stand before you once again as general manager to present the annual report. This is the 10th meeting for me to attend here at the 51st annual meeting. My first meeting was in 2011, and I was introduced to the community then, and Jeff Flynn was the president, and he turned to me and said, I'm doing the report this time, but next time you have to do it. He had no idea I'd be doing it 9 more times after him. The annual report will summarize this year and discuss future challenges. Since last year's annual meeting, LOA has gone through a cycle of coronavirus closings and then reopenings as the vaccine became widely available and the governor's mandates expired. The year could have been a financial hardship if not for LOA being able to secure a Paycheck Protection Program grant and CARES Act grants to keep us going. We're not in the clear yet, though, as you can hear with the Delta variant. The good news is, though, that 4 months into the new fiscal year, LOA's overall financial performance shows we're off to a good start versus the budget, and our financial condition remains solid. Assessment collections for the current year are on target at approximately 82%, as you can see on the board there, of the assessments collected. That's a really good sign. That's ahead of where we were last year. Balances in the 4 reserve funds are approximately $4.9 million, and reserve cash is adequate to cover this year's remaining capital spending of $3.3 million. Operating cash stands at $3.1 million and our assessment delinquency rate compared year to year is 2% compared to 2.1 last year, industry average 5%. So very healthy sign that your association is keeping delinquencies low. The independent financial audit was presented in July, and LOA received a clean opinion. And one of the notable aspects was member equity grew by $1.7 million to $21 million. LOA remains the largest concentration of homes and populations in Orange County. LOA's preliminary estimate of the 2020 census up on the board there, as you can see, is 8,081. Boy, it sure seems like 10,000, doesn't it? As close as we're living together and as much as people come and go out of the gates. But that's up 904 people from the 2010 census when we were at 7,177. We're at 22.3% of Orange County's population of 33,481. In 2010, we were 21.4% of the county population. Now, here's a really interesting stat. LOA now has 3,937 completed homes as of April 30 on the 4,258 private lots. That's up 48 homes from last year. No wonder it seems like we're living closer and closer together, huh? It makes me wonder if this time next year, if we'll be crossing the 4,000 mark. It's going to happen fairly soon. Our housing stock is a key indicator of a healthy community. If you have a good housing stock, that's a really good sign, along with having an awesome community association. And so it's good news that from May 2020 to April 2021, the Environmental Control Committee approved 57 new home construction projects, which is up 22 from the previous year, and approved 160 renovation projects, up 60 from previous year. Approximately 10% of the homes in LOA turn over each year now. In the past 12 months, there were 487 properties changing hands compared to 406 the year before. That's 81 more properties. And the Finance Department issued 437 resale packages in the same period, and that's up 60. Home construction and sales are definitely unaffected by COVID-19. And so what that tells me is we've got more and more new people, and people aren't staying as long. So it makes for an interesting world to manage an association when you know that you're dealing with a lot of new people every time you mention something and bring up a topic. It may be the first time they've ever heard it. Okay, the board of directors and management spent a significant amount of time on the 7 stated board goals. We got them summarized there on the board for you. The board approved and supported actions. They completed 5 of the 7, and they approved and supported actions that maintain financial stability during COVID-19, persuaded FEMA to modify its flood insurance maps to favor a little bit better for the property owners that are adjacent to the lakes, amended wakeboard regulations that essentially saved wake surfing here at the lake, and protected shorelines, tracked short-term rental properties, also known as Airbnbs, and automated assessment and amenity payments. The board's in-progress goals are developing a lakes management and stormwater management plan study, which should be completed by December. We'll talk more about that. And amending regulations for vehicles with advertising parked on the residential lots. The board adopted a 5-year capital plan and a golf business plan. They established charges for lot violations. They addressed reckless boating. They adopted a rewrite of the environmental control procedures and updated regulations on causing disturbances on common area and went on political signs and flags. The board will meet in a series of retreats to set next year's goals. They'll start having their retreats this week. So when we look back at the year, what are we going to remember? Well, usually we talk about some awesome capital project that got built. But because of COVID, there weren't any capital projects that are right in this time frame. But we'll see a bunch of them here in the next few months as we finish the clubhouse roof, as we pave some sections on Lakeview Parkway, for example. But when we look back, we'll remember that the association stayed afloat financially with the PPP and CARES grants. Secondly, that the association and the board were open for business when a lot of other associations decided to send their employees home and not have their board meet. We just kept going. And finally, we'll remember all the community groups that stepped up. I'll be talking about that here in a little bit to help us with all sorts of interesting programs. So we got another slide right beyond that one that shows a little bit of that. So that's what we'll remember when we look back. We'll also remember that members played more golf and boated more often. Parks and beach going continued about the same. However, when the governor's mandate came off, we were able to reopen the restaurants and the fitness center and the pools. We opened our buildings to clubs and committee meetings again. And we all know how much Lowell members love to meet. They love to get together. And so we were able to do that once again. We rescheduled our Independence Day fireworks for Labor Day weekend to give members more time to get vaccinated, and I think the show was really terrific on Saturday night. Hope you enjoyed it. American Fireworks, they do a great job. There were significant personnel changes. Jack Deal came in in July and replaced Mike Harvey. Bobby Jones was promoted to Director of Facilities, replacing Jesse Graves. Grant Christie was hired as our grounds foreman, is doing a terrific job on all our beauty spots around the community. He replaced Michael Margrave. Ryan Richardson was promoted to Food and Beverage Director over both Clubhouse and Fairways. Nick Blankenship was promoted to Environmental Resources Manager from Soil and Erosion Inspector. And we also hired Hunter Spencer, who lives here in the community. He's a retired architect, and we hired him part-time as our Capital Projects Manager. So he's running a lot of these big projects that we have. But before I talk about the marvelous job that our departments did this year, I want to turn it over to Travis and Chris, the hosts of Lowell Lowdown, for the starting lineup. So if you give your attention over here, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 51st LOA Annual Membership Meeting. I'm Travis, your announcer today, and alongside with me is Chris Porter. We've got a humdinger for you folks.
Oh yeah. Now, it's now time for the Leg of the Woods starting lineup.
First up, maintenance.
Bobby Jones, Director of Facilities.
Nick Blankenship, Environmental Resources Manager.
Tracy Johnson, Facilities Coordinator.
Hunter Spencer, Capital Projects Manager.
This team holds the entire association together, much like a pit crew. Without them, there wouldn't even be a league.
They've had a change in lineup for maintenance this year. Bobby Jones is now quarterbacking the team as Director of Facilities.
And new to the team is the ringer Hunter Spencer, Capital Projects Manager, and Rookie of the Year Nick Blankenship, Environmental Resources Manager. I'm not sure he's going to hold that rookie position title much longer, though. He's already making waves in lake management.
And now amenities.
Jack Deal, Golf Operations Manager at the golf course.
Bridget Hutchins, Equestrian Center.
Tracy Hayes, Community Operations Manager.
Ryan Richardson, Director of Food and Beverage.
The newest member of amenities team is Jack Deal, PGA Golf Operations Manager. He's a veteran player who's a pro at the game.
This has been a cohesive team for several years now. Each of these players has their own huge fan base inside the membership. And adding Jack to the team is just going to help them shore up those performances.
And finally, administration and finance.
Charlie Manimal, Director of Finance.
Barbara Riley, Controller.
Carolyn Broder, Communications Manager.
Karen Mollard, Human Resources Manager.
Lori Trocchio, Executive Assistant.
Phil Rodenberg, LOA General Manager.
These players head up special teams. Each group works together with the other teams to keep up the league running like a well-oiled machine.
Keeping an eye on the league stats, we have Charlie Manival, Director of Finance, and Barbara Riley, Controller. They can work the spreadsheet like no one else in the league.
Heading up the communications special team is Carolyn Broder. I know I'm proud to be part of that special team.
As am I. Managing the team roster is Karen Mollard, Human Resources Manager. Handling the league administration is Lori Trocchio. And last but not least is General League Manager Phil Rodenberg.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Chris. Let's hear from them. A little twist in the presentation today. I want you to hear from their own mouths, their names and their positions. So we'll continue with the presentation. We'll start with Communications Department. They worked alongside the other departments and members to plan for and promote COVID-safe community events such as the Holiday Home Decorating Contest and the Holiday Photo Op Sets. I hope the Holiday Decorating Contest will continue into future years and be a new tradition. Manager Carolyn Broder, that's her right there, and worked with the Communications Committee to implement the LOA Virtual Committee Fair, and the Communications team worked remotely during the height of the pandemic and had no break in service. Carolyn continues to serve as the Public Information Officer for our COVID Incident Command System team, consisting of the GM and some key ops managers and the security chief. She and her team ensured the LOA members were regularly updated on any major changes in closures and restrictions. So some of the communication statistics. First of all, we can't forget that Lake Currents comes out 25 issues a year, so that's an ongoing process. But also, it's interesting to look at the increases that have taken place with some of our social media outlets, Clubhouse, online emails, a total of 5,400 went out, and we saw our subscribers jump 220. Facebook, 3,804 likes, and the subscribers increased 296. Website users, 87,656, an increase of over 11,000. And then rained out users, 1,110 subscribers for those that like to get text messages. Oh, I'm getting one now. Carolyn must have done something new. All right, our goal is to provide the best communication services possible on many types of electronic and print media as we can, so we can accommodate our members and their diverse communication styles. So let's talk a little bit about security. Allied Universal Security is in its 9th year here. The ongoing emphasis is reducing wait times at the main gate and working closely with Orange County Sheriff. Sheriff was just out here for a neighborhood night out meeting, so it's always great to see him at those events. He also attends a lot of our Saturday morning board meetings. The total main gate stats. Here's main gate and back gate statistics. Always interesting each year to see what the comings and goings are. Well, this was a new high. It was 2,530,000. And that was up 230,000 over last year. Now, we believe that last year was down because of coronavirus and less traveling, but these numbers are in line with 2018 and 2019. So through the main gate, we had 1.9 million vehicles, and of which 644,000 came through the visitor lane. That is a new high. That's over 40. That's like 40,000 more than before. So the visitor lane is getting busier and busier. We know that we have some members that are in the visitor lane. We also know that contractors come through, and of course your residential guests are coming through there. And so that's an incredibly new high number. The back gate vehicle count was 610,000. That's about on track. It was a little higher than normal, but on track. We're encouraging members to use tech control phone app instead of calling security, and you can see why. We need to be as organized as possible. We moved the issuance and support of barcodes to member services over at Holcomb Building, and now issue parking passes to member guest pass users to display on their dashboards at all times when they're at the common areas, so no one thinks that someone snuck in and used the amenities. A lot of times those are the guests of the members. And these two items have helped reduce the amount of time of vehicles getting through the main gate. Our tech control accounts, we have about 32,000. That's up over last year by about 1,000. And the number of active barcodes is just over 17,000, which is an increase over last year as well. Chief Scott Walker, who he continues to emphasize good customer service at the main gate, on the roads, and on the lakes. Lake Patrol, you see our Lake Patrol officer, Lieutenant Howe, there on the left, continues to enforce the lake regulations and do safety checks on the main lake. Challenges ahead include the need to address a third gate. There's just no way we're going to resolve this situation at the main gate unless we have another outlet. That will help relieve the congestion at the main gate. And of course, encouraging members to use tech control, building stronger relationships with the sheriff and other law enforcement partners, and staying customer service focused, especially during these times when we have to heed the COVID-19 protocols. All right, let's talk about the finance department. It's led by Charlie Manival, who, by the way, is in the back assisting the elections committee today. They had a busy year, including heavy property owner transfer, member renewal, and amenity registration. The finance team continues to support the board's annual update of the replacement reserve study, which is a very healthy sign when you have a replacement reserve that you're staying with. There's always projects going on, and there's good financial backup for that. They continued the fair but firm collection efforts to reduce delinquencies and implemented some new internal control procedures. We also launched something called Zego, an additional online payment option for members. And we also have a gift card program now. So that's something new. You can get a gift card with different amenities pictures on the front. We also continue to manage through the impacts of COVID-19 as other departments do. Electronic voting levels have increased. Almost 17,000 members are registered now to vote electronically compared to 1,700 members, and compared to 1,500 members from before. Finance also processed almost 3,000 boat registrations this year compared to 2,700 last year. The biggest gain was in the boats such as kayaks and similar non-powered watercraft. So there are smaller watercraft out there. 3,000, that's incredible. Business system improvements, including launching SkyTab, and we saw a picture of that just a little bit ago, where you can pay at the table with your credit card. We also refinanced the Clubhouse Area Recreation Complex project loan in February, and it decreased the interest rate by 2.4%. and shortened the remaining payback term by 17 months. So COVID presented a good time to refinance. Challenges ahead, keeping the assessment delinquency rate below 2%, managing the budget during these uncertain times, improving internal controls, minimizing cash handling, training staff on business systems, overcoming automation limitations, and improving amenity support and reporting. So there'll be a busy department. Okay, let's talk about maintenance. All right, maintenance takes great pride in maintaining roads, parks, buildings, and lakes. The buildings department maintains 73 buildings, including the one we're in here at the community center. Outstanding accomplishments include water line leak troubleshooting and repairs that help reduce operating costs at the clubhouse and the golf course fairway number 12 bathroom. The department installed a large shade structure at the clubhouse pool and will oversee the installation of 3 more at clubhouse and at Sweetbriar Pool. The department installed 13 electrical outlet posts at the clubhouse point and a batting cage at the Hollyfield Park baseball field. The department also oversaw contractor work at restroom buildings at the main marina, campground pavilion, and Green Springs Park, and replaced the equestrian center manure shed in a way to prevent overflow to protect the main lake. So that was the buildings department. The grounds department maintains over 200 acres of low common area, including beauty spots at parks, buildings, and entryways. The department works with the Garden Club on Arbor Day projects and the Dog Club on maintaining the Happy Tales Dog Park. And there's one of our crew members mowing the dam, and they always make it look so nice when you drive past to see our dam looking so wonderful and healthy. All right, that's grounds. Let's talk about roads department. They upgraded, they maintain 31 miles of roads. They upgraded parking lots and roadways from tar and chip to paved asphalt surfaces. This is pretty significant. We're switching over some of these tar and chip surfaces to asphalt surfaces. They include Ramsey Beach and the Equestrian Center parking lots, but also Flagstone Court, Edgemont Lane, and a section of Liberty Boulevard are now asphalt. Slowly but surely, we're getting to asphalt surfaces. And very soon, we'll upgrade the Woods Center and Sweetbriar parking lots to asphalt, and probably in September or October. So that'll be a significant difference, and there'll be a better surface that'll last for many more years. Roads completed a variety of important projects for roadway culverts and ditches and beach sediment control. A notable project was the Mount Pleasant Beach Erosion and Sediment Control Project. Also involved with that project, we brought the amphibious excavator in and removed sand and sediment that had eroded into the lake or into the cove, so improve the beach there as well. So the health of lakes remains an overarching concern, and Bobby Jones, our Director of Facilities, and Nick Blankenship, there's Nick, who's our Environmental Resources Manager, are leading the concentrated effort to combat nitrogen and phosphorus levels that are 2.5 times the EPA standard in Keaton's Lake and 1.7 times the EPA standard in the main lake. Keaton's Lake water clarity has continued to improve. That's a really good sign, but we have a lot more to do. To ensure that the lakes remain healthy, LOA hired A. Morton Thomas and Associates, AMT, to conduct the Lakes and Stormwater Management Plan study. This study consists of assessing the whole watershed, assessing the biology, including the fisheries and aquatic vegetation, and making recommendations for stormwater management in areas prone to flooding and erosion. The study will identify priority projects and activities for the next 20 years. Reducing nutrients and sediment from entering the lakes is vital to preserving the lake's health and water quality, and LOA has several effective stormwater best management practice structures located through the community, and this is something we've been able to accomplish within the last 10 years. The 13th Fairway Stream Restoration Project, the Eastover Park Water Quality Retrofit, the 14th Pond Retrofit with Forebay, the Keaton's Lake and Flat Run Forebay, those are for Keaton's Lake, and then for the Flat Run Forebay in the main lake we have, the Flat Run is on the main lake, I should say. And so all these have helped keep sediment out of our lakes. And the next big structural project depends on what the AMT study says, so stay tuned for when that study comes out in late November, early December. The next big stormwater project is the Patrick Henry Court to Small Marina Drainage Improvement Project, which is there to help prevent flooding of Lakeview Parkway near the Small Marina and also deal with flooding in the neighborhood from the Patrick Henry area down. AMT, I mentioned earlier, is working on securing permits for the project that will probably take place in 2022 into the fall time period. So they're helping us get the permits, and also LOA purchased 2 undeveloped properties that were probably never going to get developed on the Yorktown Boulevard area to help with stormwater retention. Okay, environmental resources. They conduct the bacteriological and algae monitoring on lakes and also the front entrance pond. And they do that throughout the swimming season. Now, we just had a high E. coli reading at Cumberland Beach, and that one's still in effect right now, and it's related to waterfowl, definitely. The other 2 were from sewer leaks. In each case, LOA issued a swim advisory. Other than that, we've had we've had readings lower than recommended, below the recommended thresholds for safe swimming and water activities. So other than those events, we've been fine. LOA's road crew continues to reconstruct sediment-filled ditches throughout the year, along with its seasonal duties. We recently purchased a land-based excavator. Do we have a picture of the excavator? Oh, nope, I guess we didn't get that. It's a much different animal than what we have now. We have an amphibious excavator, and this land-based excavator will be on a barge and will have a much longer arm, and it should raise productivity and efficiency in cleaning sediment out of the lakes. First use will be at the land, on land base back at the Flat Run Forebay near the back gate. And then the first lake dredging will be in Keaton's Lake in October. Right now, our amphibious lake dredge is on Keaton's Lake. All right, let's look at some of the other departments. At the community center, Manager Tracy Hayes and her team had a very different year. They were unable to host many of the events that we held in the past because of the pandemic. And for example, that we would have had the 10th annual Chris Kindle Mart had to be canceled along with many other events. The silver lining, though, is that many low clubs and organizations stepped up. Staff helped make over 100 candy-packed bags for the amazing scavenger hunt hosted by the Lioness Club. The Low Woodworkers and Low Arts worked together to make an awesome photo board and sandwich board for members to use at the holidays. And the Low Woodworkers also teamed up with Low Link to make 3 benches for members who want to take a break while they're walking around the asphalt trail here at Sweetbriar Park. The Turner family once again hosted the drive-in movies, and so you think about it, we're just very fortunate to have community-minded members like that want to step up and help us when we weren't able to gather people together. They came up with events that you could do more on a family basis, and they were very successful. The Low players were not able to perform inside here at the stage. But they were determined not to cancel the show for a second year, so the players had the first performance outside at Sweetbriar Park. This talented group's biggest concern, what do you think it was? They were afraid that they were going to get drowned out by the cicadas, but they weren't. Thankfully, that was not the case. Okay, the Independence Day celebration was postponed to September 4th. Many missed the parade and all the activities on the point that go with that, but we are happy to enjoy the spectacular fireworks display, and I think it's one of the best in the regions. The community center gradual reopening has made the usage numbers increase quite a bit. Then when we look at the fitness center, we're able to open it back up fully in June, and the membership now is at 667, which is up 245 compared to the 422 membership last year. Members are happy to have the equipment back in its original location and not have to make reservations to come in. We also gained several new instructors. Okay, let's look at the pools. We were able to open without restrictions this year. We had almost 30,000 visitors compared to 11,658, and I believe they were represented by 1,200 of the lots. So that's approximately a third of the communities coming out and using the pool. Thanks to the hardworking, creative, and talented Pools Committee members who were helped with 7 events. Mermaid and pirate sports themed days were big hits. Also, the adults came dressed up for those themes as well. Both the wine and cheese and the beer and pretzel fundraisers sold out, and we are happy that we were able to end the season with the 7th annual Soggy Doggy Swim on September 12th. And challenges for the upcoming year will be determining a pool management company to provide the lifeguards and take care of our pools. All right, turning to golf. Our golf maintenance contractor, IGM, has been with us since 2005, and Superintendent Mike Kuhn and his crew are keeping the golf course in excellent condition. This year was centered around removing trees to improve turf growth. We hired a new PGA operations manager. There's Jack's picture right there. Jack Deal and his team report golf revenues. We're up almost $487,000 from approximately $428 previous year, which is a gain of $63,000, and we're 20% ahead of the revenue pace set for last year. We are on track to beat $500,000 for the year. So think of those round numbers for golf, $500,000, and we're going to talk about fairways, $500,000 for them. That would be an awesome revenue year if we got those. Golf rounds were at 22,392 for 2021, up 5,300 rounds from 1920, which was about 17,000. Annual memberships are at 137, which is almost the same as last year's 140. Immediate challenges are to continue to grow membership, increase the value of golf membership, and increase afternoon rounds played. The IGM contract is up for renewal, and the new board will be asked to award a 3-year contract to the golf maintenance company that gets chosen. All right, let's talk about the restaurants. Fairways Cafe revenues were down $335,000 from $433 in the previous year, which is a loss of $97,000 because of COVID, of course. The good news is Fairways revenues, they're on track to break $500,000 for this year. Top line sales for the current fiscal year are $62,000 above budget, and sales are recovering. Shoots and Fest, which is October 16, is scheduled to take place, along with open mic night, karaoke, and trivia night. We have a new walk-in cooler freezer that should be complete soon and enable us to expand the menu with additional cold storage. Led by Carletta Johnson and Sandy Stanley, Fairways Cafe is poised to continue the service of our membership through new and upgraded menu options and live entertainment, working closely with Food and Beverage Director Ryan Richardson and Golf Pro Jack Deal to attract tournaments and banquets, and also work with the brand new Fairways Committee. We have a new committee. It's the Fairways Committee. All right, let's look at Clubhouse. Revenues were down $438,000 from the $1.1 million previous year, which is down $700,000, and they were severely impacted by COVID-19 closures and restrictions. Many events were canceled or postponed, and seating capacity was cut in half. In the current fiscal year, the Clubhouse is exceeding its budget sales by $108,000, which we attribute to large seating areas on the deck where we've hosted numerous live music events during the summer. Weddings and special events, they're coming back. They're returning in the fall months and will help continue to reach and surpass our budgeted sales numbers. Events will include Silvertones, Thanksgiving Day buffet, Dinner with Santa, and New Year's Eve gala, to mention just a few. And we expanded and changed our menu to emphasize monthly and daily specials. Seasonal specials and farm-to-table offerings have been well received. All right, let's look ahead to the Equestrian Center, and that's the last department that we'll highlight. And there's Bridget. And Bridget Hutchins, along with Assistant Manager Melissa Zukowski and the Equestrian Center staff, care for 11 equines, 2 more than last year. There are 4 low-owned horses: Patent, Prescott, Ivy, Over the Moon, which is also known as Juliet, and 5 boarded horses and 1 mule: Gunner, Snip, Shoe, Brittany, Barley, and Trace the mule. And at least one and we have 1 lease pony, it's Fancy. This summer, the Equestrian Center offered 7 weeks of pony camp. Pony camp was operated safely with 8 campers in each session. All the sessions were filled, and we are happy to report that 0 campers fell off their ponies throughout this entire summer. The show booth was torn down in the summer and rebuilt in a more sensible location. The buildings department did that, and they did an excellent job doing this, and they even reused the old roof to save a little bit of money. It was still in good shape. The Equestrian Center hosted shows in May, June, and September, and we look forward to the year-end horse show on October 10th. So that's a look at the departments. Just to wrap up, I want to say thank you to the Board of Directors for all your good work. Congratulations to Heidi Brown, Walt Dirks, and Cliff Wilkes for completing your successful terms of service. Heidi, I definitely learned quite a bit from you. I've got some great sayings now: crawl, walk, run. All 4 wheels come to a complete stop, and many others. So I've learned a lot from you, and in all seriousness, I'm really terrific to work with you. And Walt and Cliff, you've signed up for another term, so we'll get to work together some more, and I look forward to that. I want to also thank the management team that was highlighted throughout the day today, and the Ops Center managers. They made a big difference and helped make this year a successful one. Thank you for all you members that give us amazing feedback during the year. You all aren't shy. You tell us what's on your mind, and it's helpful to us, and we take it all into consideration before we make decisions. And thank you so much for your time and attention. If you have any comment cards, if you could get those out for the staff, and we'll pick those up, and we can go over any comments that you have in just a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Okay, we are now at item 5, and this is the awards, certificates, and honors by Cliff Wilkes, former president of the board. It happened, it's, while you go up there, yeah. While you go up there, I wanted to let you know that the Honors and Awards Committee, they sort of faded during COVID. They just sort of, there was nothing for them to do during COVID, and the year started with COVID, so they didn't reconvene. So Cliff was liaison to the Honors and Awards Committee for 2 years, so I asked him if he would please help me with the Honors and Awards this year, and he agreed. Thank you, Cliff.
You're welcome. Can you all hear me okay? I'm going to need water before I start this, so give me a second. As Jennifer said, there's no one on the Honors and Awards Committee. If you'd asked me ever which committee would end up with no members on it, the Honors and Awards Committee is not the one that I would have guessed. It's one of the greatest committees to work on because it's really all about recognizing members in the community by other members. It's not the board recognizing you. It's your peers, our peers, because I'm a member too. Excuse me. So, as Jennifer said, she asked me to do the awards this year. There were 9 nominations received for a total of 15 members to be recognized as hometown heroes. There were a few more that were nominated, however, they were not members, so therefore that's the only culling that I did. You have to be a member of the community. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the nominations that were received almost verbatim. I'll tell you when it's not. The first one nominated and is a hometown hero and is Janet Klingensmith as a hometown hero. The members of the pool committee enthusiastically endorsed their chairperson, Janet, to receive this honors award. Although it is the charge, and this is what they said, it's the charge of every committee chairperson to use the funds allocated and the amenities they chair for the betterment of all LOA members, residents. Janet does this and so much more. The 2020 pool season was challenging, but our pools remained open for use with few restrictions as dictated by our governor and the CDC. The 2021 season has bloomed with a full schedule of events from movie nights to the Pirates and Mermaids and sports theme days that benefited the youth and many parents of our community. For the adults, there was the there was the sold-out wine and cheese pool party. The beer and pretzel event scheduled for August will certainly be as successful with line dancing and live music. The Friday sports night at the clubhouse pool is popular with the teens when volleyball and basketball are available to all. There is something for everyone, and Janet is there for almost all these events supervising. Last but not least, the pools are getting shade structures finally because of Janet's relentless pursuit. Underline relentless. Janet Klingensmith has the vision regarding the use of our pools. So many of her ideas have come to fruition, and our pools are being used and enjoyed more than ever that they have ever been in the past. She is truly amazing. Therefore, the Pools Committee feel very strongly that Janet deserves to be recognized for all her hard work. Congratulations, Janet. Donalda Lovelace nominated the following people as hometown heroes. She wrote up something, a 2-paragraph lead-in that I'm going to read, in addition to what she wrote about each person. Lake of the Woods has a small catchment of heaven between 1011 and 1019 Eastover Parkway and 100 Hollyhock Court. Should you become an owner of a home in this catchment, you get a dusting from heaven and you become a hero. You could have just moved in or lived in a home for 20 plus years. Somehow you identify those in need, and without asking, you try to help. And this is what Donalda said: these aren't great achievements, but these acts of kindness show a noble character. These men, my heroes, exceed what is expected of them. They make a positive impact. On people's lives. They are a community asset. They make the lake, my little catchment, an enviable place to live. They give me faith in humanity as I look outside my window and watch them going about their daily lives helping others. These members are Richard Humphrey. For over a year, had a scheduled weekly transport of a neighbor for dialysis. During the year, you would often see him blowing the leaves or blowing snow of his neighbors, not just adjoining neighbors, but those who were elderly further down the block. Stephen Carnes can be counted on without asking to take wheelbarrows full of tree limbs and leaves to 9.9. He could be counted on to offer his assistance in solving outdoor animal and maintenance issues. Perhaps we should employ this fellow. That was me. Gary Bardwell and his family jumped right in helping elderly neighbors despite moving to Low in the middle of COVID. He has removed snow, mowed lawns, and sent home-baked pastry to his neighbors. I think I might move. Daryl Scott is the go-to guy in the catchment for planting tips, mold removal, recommendations for outdoor contractors. I only laugh because I have a mold problem. That's the only reason. So he's the guy whose landscape you want to emulate. So it might start with you complimenting him on his yard. Then you find yourself asking him how he did it. Having a source right across the street and around the corner for men who spend their time in offices and women who have become widowed is a godsend. Francis Buttermer is the neighbor you never have met who comes out in the night in a rainstorm to offer his help. And despite never seeing him, you know that you can pick up the phone and knock on his door any given day and ask for his help. Congratulations to these gentlemen, hometown heroes. Okay. Excuse me. This is what happens when you get old and take too much medicine. You need water. Thank you. Martha Somerville nominated, and I love this name, Sparkle Capitano as a hometown hero. For decades, Sparkle served the Lake of the Woods Church with warmth, concern, and friendly assistance whenever needed. She is most accurately named. She represented the staff and congregation with courtesy rarely found anywhere today. Following her career at the church, she worked with Low Link and represented them with the same grace. Congratulations, Sparkle. Martha Somerville and Doris Barnes nominated Pastor Mike LeMay as a hometown hero. Martha praised Pastor LeMay's support for her while she mentored someone with great need as a child that has grown to be a successful member of society, serving their country, becoming a businessman, husband, and father. Pastor LeMay also helped Martha during her life-altering medical issues, bringing her groceries, medicine, and visiting her while she was a shut-in. Pastor LeMay is someone who lives his religious vocation. Doris praised Pastor LeMay's support of her while she was seriously ill and hospitalized, calls to check on her, and regular visits. Pastor LeMay spends so much time helping others in many ways, too numerous to mention. Congratulations, Pastor LeMay. Craig Raines nominated Charles Brewer as a hometown hero. Charles Brewer turned the COVID-19 pandemic into benefits for the Civil War Study Group at Lowe and its 250 email followers. For 10 years, the organization had provided monthly presentations on history in and around Lake of the Woods. In 2020, those clubhouse presentations were canceled. As the Civil War Study Group president, Charles switched them to Zoom by year's end, but Charles went further. He set up a Civil War Study Group YouTube channel where he uploaded these Zoom presentations, making them permanently available to an international audience. Today, Charles also records in-person monthly presentations for posting on the channel. In addition, he recently redesigned the website to make it more user-friendly. Last year, Charles and his wife Helen again served as election precinct captains at the Lowe Clubhouse, with the added challenge of following COVID-19 protocols to assure safe and secure voting in the elections. Outside Lake of the Woods, Charles and Helen's weekly volunteering at the Culpeper Food Closet entered its 11th year, now under COVID protocols as the organization adjusted to meet the ballooning individual and family needs of the last 14 months. Congratulations, Charles Brewer. Carolyn Rourke for Low Link and Bill Kay for the Lions Club nominated Gail Sorrow as a hometown hero. Gail founded the Lake of the Woods Impaired Vision Support Group in 2016 and has been its leader and champion ever since. She conducts the support group's monthly meetings, procuring speakers and demonstrations of equipment to help the visually impaired. She leads discussion sessions in which support group members share experiences and tips for successful management of their vision's challenges. Gail is a powerhouse when it comes to finding Lake residents who would benefit from belonging to the group and encouraging them to join. She recently restarted the support group meetings after the break imposed by COVID. Even though COVID curtailed group meetings for a while, Gail continued to be a tireless advocate for the vision impaired in the community. She and her husband, Joe, often hand-deliver materials and demonstration equipment to Lake residents. She has even been known to finagle vision equipment for local and regional organizations to give people in need. Gail has introduced many Lake residents to the free Library of Congress books on tape program that provides both the tapes and the machine that vision impaired people use for reading. Gail saw a need in the community 6 years ago and took the initiative to do something about it, resulting in a vibrant support group that benefits both its members and the community. And she has done it all while living with significantly impaired vision herself. She is most deserving of this award. Jean and Ed Bunting, along with Joy Bowles, offered testimonials in support of the nominations. Congratulations, Gail. All right. Karen Woods, president of the Lake of the Woods Ladies Golf Association, nominated Kim Moorfield and Eric Barnes, Pro Shop staff, as hometown heroes. Thanks to Kim and Eric, our golf operations continued throughout the COVID situation and the search for our golf pro. Their duties were increased to manage day-to-day operations as well as scheduling and managing golf tournaments. They kept a positive attitude and offered outstanding service. First working from a walk-up window to working behind a plexiglass barrier, they managed to keep operations going as well as keeping golfers and pro shop customers happy and well served. Most of the low amenities had a difficult time during the past year, but golf operations held the course, and thanks to their dedication and hard work, open. Congratulations, Kim and Eric. Karen Woods also nominated, president of the Ladies Golf Association, Matt McKenna, Steve Donahoe, and Lem Forrest. Virginia golf courses were kept open during the COVID pandemic. These gentlemen kept our golfers safe by providing an enhanced cleaning process to the golf carts after use. For many months, the rule was one person per cart. This did allow for social distancing, but also created double duty for maintaining the safe use of each cart. Issues with a delay in replacement carts caused the extra workload of assisting stranded golfers as cart batteries wore out and the carts stopped on the golf course. It's bad enough when you're playing bad, when the cart stops, won't work, but it's another story, even when you're playing good. These employees provided a service that helped residents stay safe, enjoy a bit of freedom and fresh air during the pandemic, enhanced our mental health, and helped keep our spirits up in a shut-down world. Without their dedication to their jobs and their sense of service, many residents would not have felt safe to use this wonderful amenity. Congratulations to Matt, Steve, and Len. And that concludes the presentation of the awards. That does not count the many people in this community that don't get recognized and help their fellow members every day.
Sure. Now's the time, if anybody has a comment card, to please pass them in.
And Cliff, thank you so much for doing that presentation. It was well done. Okay, so now we're at the point where we have members' comments, and we're collecting the cards right now. For the members' meetings, we write them.
Could you read the question, and then I'll take a shot at answering it, and then you can clarify?
I like that. I like that. Okay. If I make a complaint about an HOA violation, leftover building materials in the yard, for example, should I expect acknowledgement regarding HOA response?
Well, the short answer is yes. And let me talk a little bit about that, and it'll give us a chance to talk about how we deal with lot violations. If you write to our ECC staff, which is Matilda Barone, Barone, MBARONE @loa.org. you should receive some sort of acknowledgement and thank you for letting us know. I get those at my office, GM office at LOA, and sometimes the board gets those emails as well, and we pass those on to Matilda. Now, you're probably going to hear an acknowledgement at the beginning, but then from then on, it's really between the association and the member. And sometimes you see a member will jump on a problem right away and take care of it, and sometimes they don't. To speed those things up, we've started using emails that we have on file here at the association. We also have to send a letter, an initial letter, giving, say, 15 days or 30 days to correct a problem. And but we've started using emails, and some members jump right on the problem and deal with it, but others don't. They ignore the first letter. They ignore the second letter. They ignore the third letter, and the board has to get involved in a lot cleanup. And no one can enter your lot unless there's a board vote to enter a lot to take care of a problem like that. So sometimes it's not the staff doing their part to get out the word and say, hey, would you correct this violation? It's the members that won't take the action, and that's always a big dilemma. How do we get a member to take action? And one of the ways we've done it this year, do you want to talk about that, or would you like me to keep going with the violation? We have violation charges that associate with those. So every letter costs the association something to put out, and if you don't reply by the time we send you a second letter, we charge you $60. And it gets more expensive as you go, up to the point where if we have to issue one from our attorneys, that would be $600. So we're hoping members will take action and not wait when there's a lot violation. So thank you for that question. I hope that answered it.
I wanted to make a comment. There was one lot violation that went on for months, so we had to take it to court. And the judge has filed charged with between attorney fees and court costs. The member is responsible for $7,000. So please, if you're listening in, please don't ignore those letters. We don't want to charge anybody. We don't want our members having to pay $7,000. We just need you to maintain your lots. And it doesn't even have to be fancy, just nice.
All right, the next card we got, and I believe this is the last one, has two questions and a comment. So should we take them one at a time?
Sure. Okay. Can we please have fences due to the closeness of our homes?
What do you think?
It's in our governing documents from way back when, no fences. And can you imagine having fences and say you get a white picket fence and it gets all run down and you're living next to that? That would be terrible. Our chain link fences. So anyway, it's in our governing documents. We would have to have a referendum if we wanted to have fences.
Yeah, I would say at this point we do allow dog runs, and you can work with the Environmental Control Committee on a dog run, but no fences all the way around the property on the property lines. We do allow fences for swimming pools, but we don't have too many of those in the community. All right, the next one. The President's asked me to address the next one. Please, no more use of Roundup in our community center and grounds. In our community center. So they probably mean around the community center. And so Roundup is, one thing I'd want you to know, we do use Roundup on, the grounds maintenance does, but they are certified by the state and they do go by the directions. So we take into consideration the environmental concerns. We also have different mixtures as we get closer to water. I believe that we do that responsibly, and if there's another product that comes along and it's better, we'll use that. Okay, and the last comment was, thank you for the wonderful fireworks show. Great job. So I think we all agree with that. So do we have one more written comment, Madam President? No. Okay, that does it for the written comments. We thank you all for your participation. I thought maybe you were doing one more.
I was, but turned out. Okay, and we're going to hang around after if you have any questions or any follow-up questions. Okay, now we are at announcement of annual meeting of the Board of Directors, which is our reconstitution meeting. That will be Wednesday, September 8, 2021 at the Community Center at 9 o'clock. We also have a next announcement of a next regular board meeting, which is a special meeting of the board for the purpose of a retreat to include the annual briefing. That will be Thursday, September 9, 2021, Community Center, 11:30 a.m. Then we have a regular Board of Directors meeting Wednesday, September 15th, 2021, Community Center at 2 p.m. Okay, I now announce the close of voting for election of directors. And, wait. Well, I know, I don't have the gavel. I left it over there. Okay. Oh, thanks, Pete. Okay. And I also have the announcement of voting results. And what we have here is total ballots received, 1,089.25. Total valid ballots cast, 1,062.25. Abstentions, 6. Total invalid ballots cast, moved, there were none. Total invalid ballots cast, not in good standing, there was 21. Okay, number of ballots cast. Rick Rappaport was first with 909.25 votes. Walter Dirks is second with 883.25 votes. And Clifton Wilkes is third with 785.5 votes. Congratulations and thank you for running. We appreciate that a lot. All right, and ballot breakout. Phone ballots, 12. Paper ballots, 173. Electronic ballots, 904.25. Then again, our total ballots received are 1,089.25. Thank you, everyone, for voting. We really appreciate you taking time to think about your community and vote for your board of directors. We were worried we weren't going to get enough votes. Okay, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second? Moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. We are now adjourned.
I move the board approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Terry.
I move the board approve the election results as certified by the chair of the election committee.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the election results as certified by the chair of the elections committee. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Number 5 is seating of the new directors. First of all, I want to thank Heidi Brown for her time and her effort because, believe me, she spent considerable effort being on this for these 3 years. She put in so much time and energy. We really appreciate you, Heidi. And you deserve this plant. You probably deserve 2, but we only have 1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Rick, it is now time for you to assume Heidi's seat. Hope you do as well, Rick. You've got a hard act to follow there. Okay. All right. Okay, it is now time for us to elect officers. We're open for nominations for president.
I nominate Pete Brown for president.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made to nominate Pete Brown. Motion made and seconded to nominate Pete Brown as president. All in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, Pete, get ready to move.
Oh.
All right. Pete? I hereby pass this gavel to you. You are now president. Thank you so much for being willing to be president.
Thank you for this past year. I've learned a lot from you. And so with you, Cliff, as 2 past presidents, the most tenured board in the history of Lake of the Woods, 7 years for Carl going into Walt will be going into 6. You'll be 6. Terry and I, 3 or 4 each. This is going to be very easy compared to what you've had to, all of you have gone through. But thank you. All right. Let's move forward.
Okay. There you go. Move over here. Okay.
Okay, we'll now take a nomination for Vice President.
I nominate Terry Vickery as Vice President.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, got ahead of myself. All right.
Motion passes unanimously.
We'll now take a nomination for Treasurer.
I nominate Walt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any others? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we will now entertain a motion for Secretary. I'm sorry?
What?
Did we make a second?
Yes,
And we voted aye?
yes,
Okay.
I thought so.
Motion passes unanimously.
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
Are you ready?
Yes, any nomination for Secretary?
I nominate Rick Rappaport for secretary.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any others? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We're now at item,
We,
No, you
I
gotta
think
move
we have to
seats.
switch.
oh, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right.
Everybody move.
All
We are
right.
playing musical chairs at the moment, and we will reconfigure here.
Oh,
Denver, I'm not sure where you're heading.
oh, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, is this Rick?
He doesn't have one yet.
We are now at item 8 on the agenda. This is for the selection of committee, I'm sorry, item 7 on the agenda, setting the annual calendar. Rick?
You have a motion.
Item 7 on the motion sheet.
I move to adopt the annual calendar as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Could I say a word about the calendar and choice that we have set up for you?
Please.
All right, thank you. Directors, you have 2 versions in front of you. One has got a blue header on it, and the other's got a green header on it. The difference is the March meeting. On the blue heading one, you have 2 March meetings. You have one on 5th and the 16th. And on the alternative one, the green header one, you only have 1 meeting, March 9. It's really to decide if you would like to scale back some of your meetings. Your schedule is pretty hectic between now and the adoption of the budget, but once the budget's adopted, you do have a little bit of a little more freedom. So we wanted to present this as an option. If you look on the bottom left of each one, it summarizes the types of meetings and where they are. So under the blue version, you have 8 Saturday meetings, 1 Tuesday meeting, 13 Wednesday meetings, 5 special meetings for a total of 27 meetings. On the other one, you would have 26 meetings because you would have 1 less Saturday meeting. You would just have it on Wednesday. So we picked the 9th because it splits the difference between February 16 and April 2nd. And of course, the board could always call, the president could always call an additional meeting if we needed to, but it'd be a special meeting rather than a regular one. So it's really just an option. The president and vice president had talked about, well, we have 1 meeting in December and 1 meeting in June. Would we want to go to 1 meeting in March? So it's really for y'all to decide. We'll support you either way.
Mr. Secretary, are you okay with the second version, the green header version, 1 less meeting for us all?
At the pleasure of the board, I'm fine with it.
Discussion?
So,
have any problem with it? Any questions?
If it's
I don't.
Show of hands, the second option, the green one. Is everybody good with that?
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
I'm just kind of curious. I think you made it clear, but I just wanted to make sure. It sounds like the bulk of our work in terms of establishing a budget, reviewing it, voting on it, that's all done by about February. So in theory, there shouldn't be anything too urgent happening in March. That it would be okay to have one meeting instead of two.
Yes, we reviewed what you've done over the last couple of years, and it's, typically you're approving resolutions related to regulations. For example, if there was a lakes regulation or pools regulation, you'd want to knock that out before we get to the season. So that would probably be the kind of thing that would be on March, but we don't typically have any sort of March deadline that we've got to get something done. For example, insurance is not in March; it's other months, those kinds of things. So it's just if you want one less Saturday meeting. The tradition of the community was that when most people lived elsewhere, we would have Saturday meetings, and so we've traditionally had our regular meeting on Saturday. As we've evolved a little bit, I sense that there are fewer weekenders coming to Saturday board meetings, and so there may be other times that are better for the board, or it doesn't seem to make a difference if we have an evening meeting or a Saturday meeting. We're going to have about the same number of people, and of course with Zoom, you can participate and not even be here. So, just wanted to present this as an option to take away one Saturday meeting. What it would mean, for example, is we typically have the school board, we have the sheriff, we have the security chief, and those kinds of things on a Saturday. If we really needed to, we could invite them to that March meeting and ask them to come in the afternoon. We could still make that happen.
And often they submit written reports in lieu of an appearance.
Fire and Rescue
anyway.
often has a written report, and the chief always has a written report.
I'm going to ask my resident parliamentarian, Cliff, do we need to amend the motion or just?
No, we said the calendar as presented, and we didn't say which calendar, so we can say now which calendar it is we want to vote on.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to amend my motion that the board adopt alternative schedule number 1, the green-headed schedule.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We're now at item 8 on the agenda, this selection of committee liaisons. We will do this round-robin style by seniority. And Carl, you are our most senior board member. You get to select your committee first.
I'll select M&E.
M&E, Carl. Thank you, Carl. That's an important committee. Who is next? Jennifer.
I'll select the clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Walt.
Rules.
What did he say?
Rules.
Okay. Me. Have honors and awards already. Does that count now, or?
No, I think you still have to claim them.
Thank you.
Otherwise, you can end up with a whole lot.
I got you. Honors and awards for me.
Well, you're already on there.
Okay. So I pick another one?
Yeah.
I'll do Board of Examiners for this one. Terry.
External affairs.
External Affairs. Cliff.
External affairs.
I will take ECC.
Cliff is ECC. And Rick.
Safety and security.
Great.
Not surprising.
Okay, Carl, we are back to you.
Fairways.
Fairways Committee. Thank you, Carl. Jennifer.
Fitness.
Fitness. Walt.
Okay, last year, the committees I'm on automatically and rules were the only ones I had. And I guess the question is, how do you all feel? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This thing is, so the question is, how do you all feel about me taking another committee in addition to the ones I had last year as treasurer?
Yeah, because right now you're already at 3.
Right.
I would wait until we get to the third round.
Yeah, I mean, wait until everyone else has 3.
Yeah, let everyone else go.
Okay, everybody
to
else
the
go.
third round, and then you might pick one.
Okay. Let's see here.
Which means Pete, you're already at 2.
Did Walt pick?
Did Walt pick?
Well,
He's already
so
got
the discussion was, since he's already at 3, because he has 2 obligatory and 1 he picked, that maybe we wait until everybody else is also at 3
he
before
could
he
pass.
picks another.
Okay.
And so,
Pass.
and Pete is now at 2 already. So if you pick one now, you're at 3.
I'll do pickleball tennis.
My next.
Terry.
I'll take pools.
Cliff?
I'll take the LCC.
Thank you, Cliff. Rick?
Lakes.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, we are back to the top. Carl?
Are we still going to community and youth activities? Do we have that still?
At present, it is not operating. There is not a committee. Pools has agreed to take that under their wing and coordinate such activities. So Pools will be doing most of that unless we have a groundswell of people wanting to do it. Phil?
Mr. President, yeah, we want to change the charter of the Pools Committee. Maybe we could discuss that at retreat to figure out exactly what needs to happen to make that happen.
Good deal.
So what are we doing?
So
Take it out?
skip that one out for now. So you're
I'm
still
working
up.
on
Yep,
it.
yep. Take your time.
Neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch? That's not really a committee.
That's not a committee here.
Yeah.
It's just listed.
It's a service.
So it's not a committee.
No.
Usually the president is assigned to that since there's a security meeting on Friday.
So has anybody got safety and security?
Yes.
Yes.
Rick.
Rick.
Uh-huh.
Equestrian.
Sorry, what?
Equestrian.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl. Jennifer,
Communications.
communications. We're at Walt,
Okay, how about the Ad hoc Wood Center?
Ad hoc Wood Center.
That's going out of business.
It's a good committee.
Okay, me again. See, I'm at 1, 2, 3.
You really shouldn't take a fourth one, I swear.
I don't think so.
Are you at
there
3?
You're going to have
Yes.
so many
That's
meetings.
probably enough for you.
Okay. Well, then, we'll skip me. Terry.
Yeah.
Golf and planning?
Yeah, oh, I know what's left. I'm just trying to decide whether I should take something again. Okay, great. I'll take nominating.
Nominating.
You're not a third year, are you?
No,
Okay.
second.
Okay.
Feels like 10th.
Well, that's a good notation in there. Thank you. Okay. Cliff?
My choice is the golf committee or the planning committee.
Yes.
I think I'll take the planning committee.
All right.
And who gets golf? Rick, it's your turn.
I think, but I have elections, right? Do I have
Yes.
to-
Yes.
So you're 4 already.
Yeah.
So
Ah,
I tell you what,
I'll take golf.
you don't play golf, do you?
No, but I can. My father did.
But will you take it? Okay.
I think so.
All right.
You're the perfect one for golf.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Jennifer wants golf?
I
Yeah.
will take golf.
She's, all right. She's
Come for-
clamoring
come
for
for
it.
compliments.
She has it.
For it.
Okay. Linda, I think we've got them all. It looks like we've got all the slots full. Okay? All righty. Thank you all for volunteering the important work of being the liaison to our committees. And of course, we thank the committees for all of the work they do on behalf of the association.
Can we run over the list?
Yes, let's do that.
See who.
Okay, Board of Examiners is me, Clubhouse is Jennifer, Communications is Jennifer, Elections is Rick, Secretary. Then we have ECC is Cliff, Equestrian is Carl, External Affairs is Terry, Fairways is Carl, Finance is Walt, Fitness is Jennifer, Golf is Jennifer, Honors and Awards is me, Lakes is Rick, LCC is Cliff, M&E is Carl, Nominating is Terry, Pickleball Tennis is me, Planning is Cliff, Pools is Jan.
Terry.
Yeah, she is the chair of that. Terry, however, is the liaison. Rules is Walt. Safety and Security is Rick. Treasure Investment is Walt. And Ad Hoc Audit is Walt.
And
Ad Hoc Wood Center.
And Ad Hoc Wood Center is Walt. And Neighborhood Watch is mine. Okay. Then is everything, does that match what you have? You got those? Great,
Yes.
okay. All right. We are now at item 9 on the agenda. Consideration of setting Virginia State Golf Association rates for 2022. This would be Resolution 2021-22. Walt.
I move the board adopt Resolution 2021-22, setting rates for Virginia State Golf Association play for 2022.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Phil, would you lead us in explanation for our members for this?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. We normally wouldn't have an action item on your organizational meeting, but the Virginia State Golf Association would like to have our input for their annual booklet for the VIP program. And so working with Jack Deal, our PGA Golf Ops Manager who's in the audience, we've designed the following prices for this program. There are limitations to it, and because we believe the VSGA is a good program. We've had it for several years. We want to continue it. We want to stay in the book. It does present that we would be giving really good discounts to those that participate, but there are limits. First of all, you can only make a reservation 3 days ahead of time, which, if you think about it, it gives our members plenty of time to book the tee times they want. It gives Golf Now plenty of times for the folks that book through Golf Now to make tee times, and then there would be VSGA. And so you can see here how it's arranged January to March. The prices would be Monday through Thursday, $27, and Friday through Sunday, $32. And then during the peak of the season, April to October, the rates would be higher, $32 for Monday through Thursday and $40 Friday through Sunday. And then November, December, it would drop back down to the 27 and 32. Again, I would emphasize that a lot of other groups get a bite at the apple before VSGA can book, and but we want to keep that program involved. We've estimated that will account for about $15,000 to $20,000 in the current year, so it is a good source of income for us. I would also point out that Jack Deal is going to work with the golf committee to socialize an idea that we change when we have tee times. And right now, members can make tee times 7 days in advance, and what we'd like to do is move that to 14 days in advance for golf club members, 7 days in advance for residents, 5 days in advance for Golf Now, and then VSGA would be 3 days in advance. And we think that will give members much more time to make those decisions. We also want to move it to 6 o'clock. I don't know if anyone gets up at midnight to make those tee times, but we thought it was a decent move to move that to 6 a.m. So these are ideas that we want to put into place when the new Golf Now system kicks in. So that's what we're presenting here, and we'd ask that you approve it. If you have any questions, I can draw Jack up to the microphone.
Terry.
Two questions. One is if the golf committee supports this, and the second question is when will Golf Now be implemented?
Golf Now will be implemented in November. I'll ask Jack to comment on what feedback he's gotten from the golf committee on VSGA. If you could come up to the microphone. This is Jack Deal. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Well, I think you can hear me with that, right? Yes, we have had the golf committee discuss this. We've also had the golf committee have a subcommittee of 3 people that are going to go through all of the rates and all of the times for people to make their, have the availability to make tee times. Our most important concern is that the property owners and that the members are taken care of before anyone on the outside. So that is our number one concern. And the other thing is that many of our members and our property owners are also members of the VSGA. So they get to use these opportunities if the tee times are available as well. It's a question of us being able to make some good use of some of the times that aren't being taken earlier on. So it's...
And Jack, I have just a comment, I guess. I like the idea that our golf club members can make theirs now 14 days in advance, which is a clear advantage to those who buy an annual membership. So
absolutely. That's our goal in the subcommittee. Our goal is to find every possible way that we can maximize the number of members we have for next year and to incent them.
Rick.
Just another question. The parenthetical notation, maximum VIP listed below, I take it that VSGA sets a upper limit on what we can charge, and that's what's represented here?
Yeah, they want to make sure that we're giving 30% off of rack rate. Unfortunately, our rack rate has been kind of low, so we want to kind of stay away from that. We've set these prices because these are obviously last minute tee times. They're non-revenue times that we're selling, so we're getting revenue at times that otherwise probably wouldn't be used. So we're trying to incent them to get tee times that don't infringe upon anybody's round of golf.
So just to make sure I understand it, so we could set prices lower than this, but not more than this, is that correct?
They make basically recommendations. We could do whatever we want. It's a question of how we're going to incent people so that we get more business from VSGA. So we can go from maybe $15,000 to $17,000 and not infringe upon our property owners and our members' use of the tee sheet. So we're trying to basically sell non-revenue times and gain revenue from it.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? As Jack just said, this is yield management, if you will, sound like airline seat pricing, unsold inventory, and the VGSA booklet is a book. Every golf course around has a deal of some sort in there. It is recommendation from them, but we set the price. Phil.
Mr. President, just to amplify on what Jack said, our going rate for a non-member is $45 a round, and on weekends it's $50. So there will be times when people are paying more. This is probably about as low as we're going to go, but there could be a hot deal on Vote Now. Remember, we give them 2 tee times. And ideally, over time, and I know Jack agrees with this, we want the hot deal price to be higher and higher to reflect the value of playing on our course. So, so the board in the budget time frame, you're going to be looking at golf rates, and it sounds like Jack's got a good working group to give good feedback on that. We'd like to make good decisions that reflect the value of our course and give our members ample opportunity to play the course before outsiders come in.
I actually have one more question.
Yes.
So I was just curious, I was looking at this attachment, and I see it's for the VSGA generated daily greens fees. And there was just one year that seems to be an anomaly, which was 2018. I was just wondering what happened that year.
I don't recall what it was, because I think the referendum was in 2016, so not sure. There must have been some sort of a hiccup with
I can't remember
us
if that
getting
was
in
a
the program.
ramp-up year or we got too late, but
Yeah,
it is the anomaly.
I wondered too if
We
something
didn't get
was
it published or something.
we weren't coding it correctly or something like that. It just went into the regular greens fees. I can't give you the answer on that, but you can see the average is you would expect it to be in the, as I said, about the $15,000 to $20,000 range is a normal year, and we should be able to do that this year with the participation we've seen so far.
Mr. President, I think I do remember when we were passing that resolution back then, and there was we couldn't let VSGA play because of the rule. That's one reason we wanted to allow people from the outside to play, so we could get VGSA back. We lost them there for a year, I think.
Yeah, that was in 2016.
2016.
It was,
So it took a while to
earlier.
get them back.
Yeah, so just a little bit of history. Lake of the Woods lost a Virginia Supreme Court case, Bauer versus Harn, and so our attorneys told us if we don't have a referendum to allow outside golf play, we're really we're at risk. And so there were some months where we didn't allow VSGA in, and it took a while to come back. So 18 may have reflected the slowness for them to come back and get back on a regular pace.
Any other director questions, comments?
By the way, the Supreme Court case was old. It was, I believe it was back in the 80s, so it wasn't anything in recent history.
Okay, so a motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, Terry.
I move the board approve the committee changes as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. We are now at the item 10, member general comments. Are there any members in the audience who wish to make comments? Or on Zoom? If so, please say, "I'd like to comment," and Taylor will open your mic. Please remember proper decorum in any of our board meetings. No remarks of a personal nature, etc. Do we have any, Taylor? Pardon me?
Carolyn Broder, Communications.
Okay. No general comments. Any director comments? I just want to ask here. Again, we want to thank Heidi Brown for her service, and we welcome Rick Rappaport as the newest member of the board. The next meetings. We have a special meeting of the board for the purpose of a retreat tomorrow, Thursday, September 9th, here at the Community Center from 11:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. The next regular Board of Directors meeting will be Wednesday, September 15th, 2021, at the Community Center at 2 p.m.
Mr. President?
Yes.
May I say a word regarding tomorrow's retreat?
Please.
And get some feedback. So our attorneys will be on site at 11:30, so make sure you got that start time. They'll be with us about 2:30. Thinking there would be a little bit of a break around that time, and then I would go over the management structure, and I've provided you a copy of the organizational chart, just to give you an idea of sort of an organizational overview, and emphasizing a few points about how you do your business in meetings. Do we want to keep this fairly casual? Shall we say casual wear tomorrow?
Business casual, everyone is fine with that? And of course, thank you, Phil, for pointing that out. The attorney's portion of the meeting is executive session.
Yes, it is.
So
So
that's
if
from
any-
about 11:30 to 2:30.
If any members come in, unfortunately, we won't be able to accommodate them till about 2:30.
Great. Thank you for that reminder.
Okay. Anything else you want us to pass on? We've given the attorneys your questions and concerns ahead of time. They'll present sort of your roles and responsibilities overview, and then we'll attack your questions that you've given them to help you jumpstart your year. And we always time this to have the meeting before your first regular meeting, so you can be all tuned up.
Very good. All righty.
Okay.
Rick?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.